And now our continuing series on the greatest artist of all time. At number 33, the Everly Brothers. In the Rolling Stone magazine, Paul Simon wrote, "The roots of the Everly Brothers are very, very deep in the soil of American culture. First of all, you should know that the Everly Brothers were child stars. They had a radio show with their family, and their father, Ike, was an influential country guitar player. So he attracted other significant musicians into the Everly's world, among them Merle Travis and Chet Atkins, who was instrumental in getting the Everlys on the Grand Ole Opry. Perhaps even more powerfully than Elvis, the Everly Brothers melded country with the emerging sounds of 50s rock and roll. They were exposed to extraordinary country roots music, and so they brought with them the legacy of the great brother groups like the Delmore Brothers and the Blue Sky Boys into the 50s, where they mingled with the other early rock pioneers and made history in the process. The Everly Brothers' impact exceeds even their fame. They were a big influence on John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who called themselves the Foreverly Brothers early on, and of course Simon and Garfunkel. When we were kids, Artie and I got our rock and roll chops from the Everlys. Later, as Simon and Garfunkel, we put Bye Bye Love on Bridge Over Troubled Water, and much later, Phil and Don both sang on the song Graceland. Before the Everly Brothers joined Artie and me on the road in 2003, Phil and Don had actually quietly retired 3 years earlier. They basically came out of retirement for us. I said, "Phil, look, if you're going to retire, you might as well come out one more time and take a bow and let me at least say what it is that you meant to us and to the culture." Paul Simon concludes, "You know, the Everly Brothers have a long history of knocking each other down, as brothers can do. So in a certain sense, it was hilarious that the four of us were doing this tour, given our collective histories of squabbling. And it's amazing, because they hadn't seen each other in about 3 years. They met in the parking lot before the first gig. They unpacked their guitars, those famous black guitars, and they opened their mouths and started to sing. And after all those years, it was still that sound that I fell in love with as a kid. It was still perfect." They had 35 Billboard Top 100 singles, 26 in the Top 40. They hold the record for the most Top 100 singles by any duo. In 1986, they were among the first 10 artists inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were introduced by Neil Young. Our song for today was written by Phil. It's "When Will I Be Loved?" The track, produced by Archie Blyer, was recorded February 18th, 1960, at the RCA studio in Nashville. On the record, Don and Phil Everly on guitar and vocals, also Chet Atkins and Hank Garland on guitar, and Luther Brandon, Lightnin' Chance on bass, Buddy Harman on drums, and Floyd Kramer on the piano. It's our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. And at number 33, the Everly Brothers.
My heart in two. It happened every time.